Tim Burton, thanks so much for talking to us today. I appreciate it. What is it specifically about the novel, when you read it, that you said, I need to be a part of this project?
It was actually before the novel was even written. I just, it was a proposal that Seth, he hadn't even written the novel yet. I just liked because it was like, it reminded me of kind of a movie I would have liked to have seen when I was a kid, you know, just because I love monster movies and vampire movies, any kind of monster movie. And this, to me, when I just heard it, it just made a strange kind of sense. You know, I always remember images of Lincoln and the strange kind of compelling, kind of haunted quality that he had, and it just made a strange kind of sense.
What is it about Seth himself that you decided to sort of work with him over the next few years?
Well, I just liked, you know, I liked his approach to things, you know. He took an idea that sounds crazy and weird, but made a sense of it, you know, and that's what I liked about it, you know. It was like, it linked up to historical events and the person and the man and history, and, you know, for me, because I was a bad student, it made me interested in history, you know. It kind of got me into things that I wouldn't ordinarily get into, and I really liked that about it.
You've worked with Timur before. At what point in the process of developing the film did you decide on your roles, that you would be producer and that he would be director?
Well, we were all, Jim and Timur and I were all just, you know, we were going to produce it, but after some time of talking to Timur, you know, he just the way he talked about it and the passion that he had for it, I just thought, well, you know, you should do it, because it's like, you know, he's a great director, and I just, you know, thought, like, well, you know, I want to see his version of the movie, you know, because he just had a passion for it that was apparent in our conversations.
You know, in today's society, we don't really get to see our leaders actually physically fight. And here in the States, we obviously revere Abraham Lincoln for being kind of awesome. Obviously, this film does a lot to help that out.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is for audiences to actually see one of their leaders physically doing the fighting?
Well, it's funny. I mean, you know, that's part of the weird charm of it to me.
Sure.
Know, is like because, you know, movies are kind of, you know, extreme versions of things, life, and also it's symbolically correct. We just take it further, you know,
Sure.
And that just, you know, that was the fun of it, you know, that was the kind of the surreal charm of it for me.
How important early on was it to kind of go for the hard R as opposed to, you know, so many filmmakers nowadays go after the let's see how many people we can put in the theaters, and I was really surprised by how violent the film is, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
But when did you make that decision?
Well, this was, I mean, I'm grateful to the studio for that, you know, because usually the push is to just
Right.
kind of, you know, soft pedal it and do it, for, like you said, just to reach everybody. But, you know, I think from the very beginning they understood what it was and they got it, and they didn't want to dilute that. And so, you know, you're always grateful when they, you know, you're dealing with a studio that they see it for what it is, and they support that. And so, you know, it's not always the case, you know, and I think, you know, definitely grateful for that, you know, because it makes you realize that, you know, you're working with people that get it and are wanting to be supportive of it, and you know, that's always a help.
You know, vampires are kind of this interesting commodity now. You know, we've got this very interesting way that, like, vampires are cute and cuddly and romantically involved and stuff like that. This year you've done 2 vampire movies that are quite a different approach than what we've been seeing. How important was it to you that they be kind of a unique vampire?
Well, I mean, you know, I know it's a trend now, but I mean, for me, I've been watching vampire movies since I was 5 years old, so it's like, I never felt it like it's, you know, personally like jumping on the bandwagon or doing it, you know. So, but I think it's, you know, it's like any kind of monster movie, or vampires in particular, you know, they've been around even before movies, you know. There's something subconsciously very powerful in, you know, every culture, every, you know, has vampire stories, you know, and I think it's just, you know, it can be told a million different ways. So I think that I never really thought about it in terms of a trend or anything. It's more just a case of, like, you know, it's something that's been a powerful image or thing for, you know, a long time.
Great. Thank you, Tim, very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Nice to talk to you.